Show Up and Glow. I'm Jaylen. I'm really happy you're here with me today. How cozy does my corner look right now? How is lovely lady Lava Lamp doing? Is she good? Oh yeah, she's good. She's got the lava bubbling. I love it. Welcome. I'm really looking forward to talking with you. How do you feel about books? Do you like books? Have you read a book? What are your thoughts on books? I clearly like them or collect them or do something with them. No, I do read them, but some of them I do not. And that's on me. I grew up going to Barnes & Noble with my mother. I almost feel like it was something she did with us after school when she got off work. And, back in those days, you just said, okay, see you in 30 minutes. I was supposed to know what 30 minutes was as a kid. And then, my sister and I would just go run around Barnes & Noble. And my mom did God knows what. Don't even know what book she was buying. No, she was buying Anne Rice. That was her jam, Anne Rice books, R.I.P. And books and bookstores have such a comforting effect on me. I know I'm not alone in that. What is your experience of growing up around books? Did you have a parent or a sibling or a family friend or a grandparent, someone in your life who did this thing in the back, collecting them? Well, today I want to introduce you to 3 of my favorite fiction books. I don't always go towards fiction. I get very overwhelmed in a fiction section. I can even open the book flap or check the back, and not a lot of the time do I then go home with that said book. I don't know what it is. I almost need someone to recommend it to me, but it's so unique to everyone. Am I into fantasy fiction? I don't know. Am I into, political fiction? No, I am not. I would not be into that. But you don't know what you don't know until you do it or till you try it. So I want to show you 3 of my favorites. Because it's such a juicy, comfy video, I have something very special I'm going to be drinking tonight. It's hot chocolate from a pouch. Good old Swiss Miss. Now, Swiss Miss did come out with this lovely blend. What if we talked about hot chocolate like a blend, like a fine wine or a tea? Now, this Swiss Miss blend is called the Simply Cacao blend. And the simply means 5 simple ingredients. And you know what really chaps my britches about that? I'll tell you. Why can't all of the blends be 5 simple ingredients? Because it tastes like heaven, and I don't need 30 ingredients in my hot cacao. Just keep it simple. Keep it simple. So we're going to have a little bit of this tonight. I'm going to be very careful about the sounds because this this in my cup right away. So I brought some scissors so it won't make too many noises. But this is a good noise. Okay, I like it, Picasso. I have my boiled water with a splash of milk. That's how I like to drink it, because it says to do 8 ounces of hot milk. But your girl doesn't need all that dairy. So I got some hot water and I do a splash of milk and it's perfect. And also it is a very treat yourself kind of, moment. Indulgence, if you will. So let's pour it in. And we're going to stir it up. Oh, it's got little bubbles. That's fun. Fantastic. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. Hot chocolate slaps. It does. Okay. Whew. Let's give our brains a break real quick. Let's kind of reset it before we get into the books. Alright. Because I'm not, so easygoing about like a fiction book, like I don't check reviews online, and I don't have people that recommend them to me. I approach book buying as a feeling. So when I step into a Barnes & Noble, I let my body go wherever it wants to go. And if I find something great, if I don't, great. Cool. I got to smell a bookstore. I leave with that and I feel fantastic. So these books came to me on the first option, where I walked in and I felt drawn to a certain area and I found these books, and I can't explain, and maybe you know that feeling of how powerful it can be going in blind and then like getting into the book and it's something you absolutely needed to read about. It is truly magical. It is truly magical. And if you haven't experienced that yet, I highly recommend getting to Barnes & Noble and trying it. So this one came to me that way. And it came to me Octopus. It's by Stephen Rowley. There's a wiener dog on the front. The color drew me in. The wiener dog drew me in. I didn't understand. Oh, and I love pages like this. Like, it looks like old world. Oh, yes, give me all the books that look like that. And so I flipped it over. I do like to read, what people are saying about the book. And the first one reads, Stephen Rowley's novel isn't simply another boy and his dog story. It is a profound exploration of how we find ourselves lost, how we search for reason, how we sacrifice ourselves for our loved ones. And in the magical, hopeful world of Lily and the Octopus, we will learn to live and love again. And so I was like, what is this book? Well, let's read the cover. It's just a little small. It reads, Love is an act of courage. This is a story about that special someone, the one you trust, the one you can't live without. For Ted Flask, that someone special is his aging companion, Lily, who happens to be a dog. Lily and the Octopus reminds us how it feels to love fiercely, how difficult it can be to let go, and how the fight for those we love is the greatest fight of all. Remember the last book you told someone they had to read? Lily and the Octopus is the next one. Oh, I forgot that that's how the cover read. And here I am telling you, this is the one you need to read. It wasn't a quick read because you want to savor every moment of this book. So it's true. It's about a man and his dog, and it's from the man's perspective. Ted, is it? Ted. It's from his perspective of a very big moment in his life and in Lily's life. So if that sounds like it's up your alley, definitely check out Lily and the Octopus. I'm probably going to end up with a hot chocolate stain on my mouth like a 3-year-old. The next two are by the same author, and they kind of go hand in hand. One book piggybacks off of the first book. I gotta get into it. This one is Friedrich Bachmann. My grandmother asked me to tell you she's sorry. Another book that just drew me in because of this. I do judge a book by its cover, thank you. Because of this dog moment and this little blonde-headed girl and what they're staring at. I just I have read this book at least 4 times. I have read this big book at least 4 times. And it always delivers. So the back of this beautiful book reads, Elsa is 7 years old and different. Her grandmother is 77 years old and crazy, as in standing on the balcony firing paintball guns at strangers. Crazy. She is also Elsa's best and only friend. At night, this book takes you on a journey that is so masterfully written. Every single character is, every single character is deep and fruitful. There's not a character that comes on the page that you roll your eyes at. Every single perspective and story you get excited to read about. So if you love, it's a novel set in the real world, but it does have that element of magic and childlike wonder, but it's not a children's book. It's just all around perfect. It's absolutely perfect. So you start with this one, and then you come to his second book. Britt Marie was here. Y'all, Britt Marie, this is I think I've read this 3 times. 3 times, because again, you get through it and he loads up every story and scenario and writing so powerful and masterfully that it's like rewatching a show again when you go back and reread it, because then you see it from a different perspective. Let's read the cover. This one's a little longer, but that's okay. Okay. It says, Britt Marie can't stand mess. A disorganized cutlery drawer ranks high on her list of unforgivable sins. She begins her day at 6 a.m. because only lunatics wake up later than that. And she is not passive-aggressive, not in the least. It's just that sometimes people interpret her helpful suggestions as criticisms, which is certainly not her intention. She is not one to judge others, no matter how ill-mannered, unkempt, and morally suspect they might be. But hidden inside this socially awkward, fussy busybody is a woman who has more imagination, bigger dreams, and a warmer heart than anyone around her realizes. When Britt Marie walks out of her cheating husband and has to fend for herself in the miserable backwater town of Borg, of which the kindest thing one can say is that it has a road going through it, she is more than a little unprepared. Employed as the caretaker of a soon-to-be demolished recreation center, the fastidious Britt Marie has to cope with muddy floors, unruly children, and a literal rat for a roommate. She finds herself being drawn into the daily doings of her fellow citizens, an odd assortment of miscreants, drunkards, and layabouts, and a handsome local policeman whose romantic intentions to Britt Marie are as unmistakable as they are unwanted. Most alarming of all, she's given the impossible task of leading the supremely untalented children's soccer team to victory. In this small town of big-hearted misfits, can Britt Marie find a place where she truly belongs? Funny and moving, observant and humane, Britt Marie Was Here celebrates the unexpected friendships that change us forever, and the power of even the gentlest of spirits to make the world a better place. Oh. I love this book. And it definitely comes after this because Britt Marie is also in this book, which was such a moment for me when I walked into the bookstore and I had already read this, and then this was sitting there. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But I had to be quiet because I was in Barnes & Noble and I can't freak out in there, you know what I mean? So, were you familiar with any of these books? Had you read them? Had you heard about them? Have you read other books of his? What are some of yours that you like? Now that you hear what I'm kind of into, do you have any suggestions for me? I would love to hear about them because, as you know, I'm always looking. And I would love someone to be like, oh yes, girl, go read this one. It's going to change your life. I love a good life-changing book because those definitely spoke to me in a moment of my life that I needed to hear it. What's lovely Lady Lava Lamp doing? It's just such a tongue twister, and I'm trying to get used to her new name that I've given her. Lovely Lady Lava Lamp. That hot chocolate is making me feel all sorts of cozy and calm. My hands feel dry. Especially my cutie cuticle. Aveda Stress Fix. Smells like a spa in a tub. Aveda products are just so simple and powerful. Okay. Alright, I'm feeling like we sit in some stillness to close out the video. How does that sound? We're just gonna sit, listen to the clock, watch lovely Lady Lava Lamp if you would love to. Close your eyes, whatever feels good in the moment. But we're just gonna sit in silence. Okay. I'm really happy you spent this time with me today. It makes all the difference in my life and in your life. So I'm really proud of you for showing up, and I'll see you again real soon. So let's sit here together and enjoy the quiet and the moment with each other.